Nah, I ain't comfortable. Bet you're wondering how I got here. Well, it all kind of started at the YM.
Hey, bro. You know you already told this part of the story, right?
I mean, yeah, but when I made the first video, I didn't think about it being part 2 versus this being part 1 because I kind of skipped over what happened throughout that whole first week kind of thing, you know?
Yeah, but when they hear you telling the same story twice in 2 videos back to back, I'm probably sure they gonna click off. Shit, I would.
Man, I know. You ain't even gotta tell me.
Hey, how about this? How about you mention it? Say you go into more detail in part 2. That way you build some sort of, anticipation.
I actually like that idea because I know people generally like to follow series, kind of like a TV show, so I'm sure it'll work.
Yeah, now there you go. Now go ahead, get the intro over with, finish part 1. That way, they can get on with part 2.
I got you, man. Appreciate the tip, though.
Of course, man. Happy to help.
Oh, and by the way, what's your... Never mind. As you can see, you'll get a more in-depth version of events that actually cause this injury. But for now, I'll just give you a quick synopsis and basically show you firsthand of what happened throughout that first week. So,
Damn.
cue the montage. Like I was saying before, it all started on my first day back hooping in almost a year. Now, I went to my local YMCA that's basically only 15 minutes away and, got prepared to hoop. Got a team, got ready, stretched and everything, and started my first game. Now, when we was up, first game, we won. Now, that carried some momentum into the second game, and we was doing quite well. Up until, I was going to the hoop, driving, and all you felt was a big old pop. Turned around, looked back, see who hit me, and of course everybody was looking at me crazy. But from then on, I knew that I was done for today. After I left the YMCA, went straight to, the local Target and got a quick ice pack and was basically still walking on my leg, which probably was not the best idea. When I got the ice pack, I was looking around trying to find the closest store that had crutches, but unfortunately had to go all the way to a Walmart that's basically a couple miles away. I get to the Walmart, try to get on, the little elderly people cart or injured cart for me. And unfortunately, Walmart doesn't charge their stuff, or, their carts just broke. So I get a regular cart, walk my behind to the medical aisle, and grab my crutches. Me being me, didn't really want to use the crutches, but I got them because I knew that, I couldn't put pressure on it all the time. So use the crutches sparingly, getting used to them and everything. But like I said, I was walking on my ankle and my Achilles, putting pressure on it, and that's something that you should not be doing. So as I get to work on Monday, I walk in with my crutches, and of course, everybody looking at me, asking me what's wrong. I give them, the little quick spiel, pop my Achilles, because I didn't want to tell them that I tore it, because that would have confirmed that I tore it, at least in my head. Basically, progressed throughout the day and was asking, my fellow coworkers what's the best, options for orthopedic people. So I got a few options, thankfully, from two of my coworkers, but the one that I went with was directly from my OFM, who thankfully suggested that I go to urgent care, which is basically Optum Ortho here in Savannah. Now, luckily, I was able to go right after work and actually see somebody to, get some x-rays and a quick diagnosis. In the meantime, they gave me a boot, which I wore that whole week before my checkup appointment. And thankfully, it kind of took some of the pressure off, but of course, I shouldn't have been putting any weight on this leg. Now, I was still attempting like my regular scheduled life, especially on the weekends, as far as errands and trying to work out with it, but I was generally taking it easy. Now, fast forward to my follow-up appointment with my actual orthopedic surgeon, and he basically gave me the news that I kind of expected, because he did the general test called the Thompson test that basically gives you the indication whether or not it's completely torn or it's kind of just a tear. Now, luckily, took a video of basically the rest of that day after he told me, the unfortunate news. So instead of talking, I'm just let it play out. What's good, people? Currently in the doctor's office right now at Optum Ortho in Savannah, Georgia. Actually, finally getting to see an official foot doctor so they can basically explain my x-rays that I previously had coming to the same facility. Hopefully he can give me some good news, something along the lines of having no surgery possibly. But, even if we do, still hoping for the best. Quick recovery, a good plan to, get the tendon back right and where it should be. But yeah, man, still feeling it. Still trying to cope with this whole thing. So in a little bit, he'll be coming in here, of course, explaining my x-ray and giving me the rundown. So not really probably going to record that, but if we can, we can. If we don't, I'll definitely give you a play-by-play of what he said afterwards. So yeah. Now, as you can see, we're not in the doctor's office anymore. Currently in my work parking garage right now. I'm getting ready to eat lunch because that's the time it is right now. But outside of that, the results that they gave me was that I will be having surgery, unfortunately. But this whole process is more annoying than anything because literally I haven't had any problems or any bone breakages, anything that's required surgery to this extent. And it's never been an issue like this. Throughout the entirety of my sports career, the furthest thing that I've had to like an injury was my hamstring strain that basically sat me out for almost the entirety of the season, basically. Now, I was, of course, in the thoughts of like my body is more resilient to injury than most, but clearly that's not the case. Clearly, being able to, be in sports help, prepare my body for, injuries and strains and stuff like that. So it really didn't have much effect on me. But me being back into, trying to get back into basketball and everything for the first time in a couple months, probably to a year, to be honest, clearly my body wasn't ready for it. And this was, its way of letting me know that it wasn't. But yeah, man, they let me know basically how much I'll be paying for it, and it wasn't honestly too bad. But yeah, man, tomorrow is basically, my surgery date, as quick as that may seem, and at least in my head it is, because it's been basically a week and 2 days officially today. No, 3 days officially today. And basically this was the, best decision for me because it kind of took me a little longer than usual for me to get this diagnosis. So officially tomorrow will be my first date to my road to recovery, and hopefully, you know, everything goes good, smooth in my surgery, no complications. I get in, get out, and we can actually be outside of the doctor's office for a little minute. So yeah, man, that's where we at. Now, the one thing that I was definitely worried about as well too was how much it was going to be out of pocket. Now, as blessed as I am to have health insurance, like, I knew that I was going to be having to come out of pocket somehow, some way. But they gave me a call, let me know how much I was going to come out of pocket, at least specifically for the surgery. And it's not as bad as I thought it was going to be initially, to be honest with you. I thought it was going to be in the range of like 2,000 to 3,000 or something like that, as extreme as that may be, at least in my head. But it wasn't too much. It was like literally, she told me like I should be expecting around like $800. And for surgery, in my head, that's not too much, to be honest with you. I thought like surgeries was at minimum like $1,000 out of pocket type of thing. But clearly I got good health insurance or something like that. And outside of like anesthesia and I guess the doctor's rate, that's all I'll be paying. But like I said, they didn't let me know how much I'll be paying for those two. So hopefully, all in all, it's gonna be less than like $1,500, because I'd say that's honestly a great amount for this, you know, little surgery and everything. Because like the responsible adult I am, I save as much as I can for these type of events and, you know, these emergency, you know, payments. So that's all I'll be looking to pay for. I can definitely recoup that quickly because I make my investments, I make my savings, and I definitely focus on, you know, making sure I'm straight financially. So that's all I got to worry about. I'm good. As long as I can recover fully, get back to my 100% health and back to where I was, I'm all good, baby. Now, one thing I'm definitely going to be kind of wary of figuring out is this work situation, because basically what the nurse told me and the doctor told me is that kind of be out of commission, you know, at least walking for a good amount of, you know, weeks. I would say probably like a month to like a month and a half of basically no walking. I'm wondering if I'll have to work from home for the majority of, you know, these next couple months. Once I go back in the office after I eat my lunch here, we're gonna have to discuss that, because that's something that they generally don't really like. So yeah, man, I'll know more after I eat my lunch and go back in. We'll see how it turns out. But yeah, man, until tomorrow, when y'all see me getting ready for surgery, yeah, that'll be it for today. So until then.